Over the past several years, we've seen Mark Hamill completely lose his mind, become a Trump deranged individual. He's driven a lot of people away. He's even ruined the character of Luke Skywalker for some people with how insane and obnoxious he's been. And it's also a different thing when you're being hypercritical of a politician and a political figure. That is one thing that can certainly divide people, that can certainly push people away. It's another thing when you're coming after all of the people who voted for him. And Mark Hamill has done both of those things. And now he's sitting down in his little, he's admitting essentially that he's driven himself crazy over Donald Trump. And I also think there's something maybe physically or mentally wrong with Mark Hamill with the way he speaks now. His eyes even kind of get all fucked up in this little interview, but we have to listen to this and hear Mark Hamill explain his derangement and also how people in his family were telling him to shut the fuck up, and he refused to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I never, like you, to your question, I never became active until wanting to make sure that, first of all, I was devastated. I want to get rid of the Electoral College because Hillary beat him by 3 million votes, just a shy under 3 million. And Gore beat W by 500,000, and it's making me crazy because I started reading about the Electoral College. Oh my God, this is a remnants of slave days when they were trying to, proportion the amount of votes with, how many slaves you owned, and
Mark Hamill is an absolute fucking retard.
Yes, he is.
He is an absolute fucking retard. This is why celebrities should not talk about politics. Stick to your dumb shit. And just shut the fuck up about anything else, you dumb old bitch.
He is the worst person attached to Star Wars. Think about that. As bad as Star Wars has been for the last decade, he's the worst person attached to Star Wars. Remember when everybody was all defending him, after The Last Jedi, because all those interviews, like, oh, I feel so bad for Mark Hamill. Rian Johnson did him wrong. He was so frustrated. You had those
clips of him clearly like being very skeptical of like the path his character was taking and everything.
Yeah, and the fandom very much was sympathetic towards him, and they've always loved him because he's Luke Skywalker and the Joker and all that stuff. But he is the worst person involved with Lucasfilm, period. He's terrible. He's a terrible human being. Absolutely awful.
But anyway, so that and Citizens United, I'd like to get rid of. But in any case,
he's slurring his words pretty bad.
I started, as you said, you get most scorching hate tweets from the MAGA crowd. And when I was still on Twitter,
probably
I
Jeremy.
stopped reading the responses.
His most recent tweet, I've got like 20,000 likes on my reply.
Is that the last official tweet that he sent?
Official tweet, yep.
On November 6th?
Yep. And mine's got like 20,000 likes. I'm like, fuck you, piece of shit.
Block anyone, because then they could display Mark Hamill blocked you as a badge of honor. But I muted like a mofo. I would mute, I looked up one day and I said, oh my God, I've been muting people for 40 minutes. So once I realized how it was eating into my own time, I said, the only thing to do is don't read the response. Yes. You just can't. You can't. And someone said to me, my daughter would say, Daddy, you shouldn't tweet politically so much because, people get so angry. And so I wrote a tweet.
Look at his eye. Look at what's going on with this eye right here.
And so I wrote a tweet that I said,
you got the jab.
That's that triple boost eye.
I don't know if it's a vax. I don't know if it's alcoholism. I don't know if he had a stroke. Like, I do actually think there's something wrong with him.
There certainly is.
Stand. I love my country, and I feel it's my patriotic duty to oppose this sociopathic, I forget the other word.
You can't even say
whatever it was, with every fiber of my being. And that's the way I've been. I thought, I do feel it's an obligation. And who cares about your career? People say, oh, well, it's hurting your career because you have to appeal to the whole country, not just half the country or 45% or whatever the MAGA crowd is. But
Steiner math there.
In a grander scheme of things, who cares if I lose a part in a movie because I hate the orange atrocity? I do, and I want to know this. So,
hey, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, and
Marshawn
Lynch. Yeah,
That's quite the panel you've assembled there. That's quite the panel.
He's gone, man. He's never coming back. The man is gone. He hates you. He despises you. He despises everything you stand for. He wants you dead. This is who Mark Hamill is, and he's people need to just finally come to that realization. That's the truth of it right there. I despise him. I despise everything about him. And I've been saying this for several years now. So
he had that blurred background, man. I was like,
so you couldn't see all the fucking empty bottles laying around.
Yeah,
probably why.
Yeah,
that's freaking crazy.
Being there with Gavin Newsom and then Marshawn Lynch is the weirdest thing ever, dude.
I don't know, like this obviously like a show, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, obviously, I can't say I've ever watched it, but it is a interesting cast of characters they have there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark Hamill, go to hell. Nobody likes you. Nobody respects you. You're not even a B-level actor at this point. Your career never actually became anything after Star Wars. Harrison Ford proved to be an actual star because he is a movie star. Mark Hamill, not a movie star. But there was a reference to something there, and it made me think of this clip right here. Jay, you referenced Steiner math, right?
Yeah.
So I saw this right here.
Yeah, I tagged you in that.
All men are created equal. But you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning if we used to go one-on-one, and then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell gas for you at sacrifice.
Steiner math and Christmas lights, the greatest combination of all time, right there. So, what do you think about that Steiner math there, Ryan?
Very impressive.
Very impressive.
Like the sad part is that was actually all planned out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no.
Like the numbers fucking were. Were 100% planned out. They make no sense, but it was 100% planned out.
Oh God, so good. Scott Steiner, big Papa Pump. Holler if you hear me.